Welcome to another episode of Voice of a Niner Faithful. I'm Jason Teal, your host. Today we'll be talking a little bit about Logan Ryan retiring. We'll talk about signings of Rock Yin Sin and Chase Lucas. And we will also be talking about signing tight end Eric Saubert. I'm sure I'm slaughtering his name. Then we'll all go into a little bit about all the wonderful BA drama and get into that some. And if we have some time, we'll go over a few more draft picks. So first, let's talk about Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan, he was with the team for a year, kind of helped cover for Tainola Hufanga when he got hurt. Do a quick show. What do we got? So he retired. He was a two-time Super Bowl champion, but he went with us too, so he almost was a three-time champion. 11 seasons, 6 championship games, 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl rings. He's going to be known more pretty much for being a Patriot, but he did spend a year with us, so it's worth mentioning. Yeah, like it says, 33-year-old, mostly remembered for his time in New England. But when he was in Tennessee, he intercepted his former quarterback Tom Brady on his final pass at the Patriots, which pretty cool stat. And he did really good. He was a good cornerback. He had a great career. Hard to beat 2 Super Bowl wins and 3 Super Bowl appearances, so can't beat that. He was a outstanding cornerback. So I think he's gonna enjoy his retirement. Maybe we'll see him as an analyst or something. Maybe CBS or NBC on TV for covering games, whatnot. Who knows? But yeah, it was nice that he was on our team for a short time. So we also will talk about now the cornerbacks that we picked up. We picked up Rock Yasin. I think I pronounced it a little off before. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly now. Yasin, I think. Rock Yasin and Chase Lucas. Rock Yasin. There we go. We'll do 5 things to know. I like this particular site, mainly because it's the 49er site. So 5 things to know. Added 3 cornerbacks to the team, but I already talked about Isaac Yiadom at another time. So Chase Lucas, see, Arizona State, drafted by the Lions just a few years ago, so he's not that old. Appeared in 18 games and registered 2 tackles. That's kind of telling me he was more a special teams guy for the Lions, which is fine. We can never hurt to have special teams, and with our 49er coaches, who knows how well he'll end up being, maybe a really good cornerback for us. But appearing in 18 games and only 2 tackles, that is definitely special teams. So we got a special teams pickup that could possibly cover occasionally as a cornerback. Isaac here, we'll just bring him up anyway. He's part of the group here. So Yiadom attended Boston College. He was drafted by the Broncos in the 3rd round in 2018. So he's been around a little bit. 6 years, part with the Broncos, the Giants, the Packers, the Texans, and Saints. He's bounced around quite a bit, 6 years, and that's a decent amount of teams. 28 starts, a half a sack, 2 interceptions, 26 passes defensed, 1 forced fumble, and 1 recovery. That's not bad. He's a rotational cornerback. And then, of course, we got Rock Yasin. Let's see. He went to a smaller college. Then looks like he transferred to Temple. 12 games for Temple. And then he was drafted by the Colts in the second round in 2019. So 5 years. He was with the Colts, the Raiders, and then recently the Ravens. 40 starts, registered, 193 tackles, two. So, all right. So he might be a little bit better than an average rotational cornerback, but it definitely can't hurt. Hopefully, we'll get Hufanga back anyway, but can't hurt to have that depth. We'll see if we keep him. He just might be all three of them are just 1 year signings, so it wouldn't be a horrible thing, if they don't work out and during preseason and whatnot, they just aren't showing it. Not a big deal, but it's definitely good to have that depth at that position because you never know what's going to happen. And it's not a bad time. Special teamers. Lucas was solely on Detroit for them as a gunner. Yidam and Yasin, special teamer contributors. So yeah, they're all of them will be good on special teams, and it definitely can't hurt. I mean, we've had some years with our Niners where our special teams pretty much sucked. So it definitely cannot hurt to have good special teams players. And if they can rotate in occasionally at cornerback, all the better. Now, we also signed a tight end. This particular thing goes into both tight end and running back, but I talked about Taylor last week, coming from Green Bay, and that being here in Wisconsin that I am. I really hadn't heard much about him, so watch last week's episode if you want to hear more. But tight end Saubert, big boy, 6'5". I know most players in the NFL are tall. I'm only 5'10" myself, so everybody's tall. But that's still a pretty big boy. Drafted by Atlanta, 5th round in 2017, so he's been around a while. See, Falcons, Bears, Jags, Broncos, Cowboys, unfortunately, and both Cowboys and Texans last year. 84 games, 16 starts, couple of touchdowns, 10 games last year, 1 start with Cowboys and Texans, and finished with 3 receptions for 12 yards. So I'm thinking blocker. No one's going to ever replace George Kittle as being both blocker and receiving tight end, but we got half of that, I think. I'm pretty sure he'll be more of a blocking tight end, something to cover for Charlie Warner leaving. So it's too bad we couldn't get that guy from the Lions, Brock. That would have been awesome. But this is an okay thing. Like I said, good backup. Throw him in for blocking. George is still a man. We won't have any issues there. Definitely cannot hurt to have the extra help here. Now, the big story. I'm not sure if anyone remembers. I'm sure you all do. I'm being sarcastic. I think we went through all of this with both the last 2 years, Samuel and Bosa. Samuel did pretty much the same thing, unfollowed on social media. Oh no, the tragedy. And look what happened. We signed him to a nice big deal. Everyone was happy. Nick Bosa, late signing, but he got his deal. The same thing's going to happen here. What's going to happen is a little bit after the draft, there'll be another big push to say, oh, we're going to trade him, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But in the end, we're going to sign him. It's going to be a late signing, probably almost as late as Nick Bosa's was. But he's going to get paid. And then we'll move on. And it wouldn't be the 49ers without some off-season drama with somebody wanting to get signed, wanting to get a new contract. The whole thing with the Steelers, that was just dumb. Just because he commented on, hey, I look like their coach, they do look alike. So that was just goofy that people started thinking like that right away. And like it says here, General Manager John Lynch responded to questions about the rumors, saying he's keeping Ayuk around for a long time. So I have faith that he means that. He means that. He will keep Ayuk around. He will get paid. Everyone's going to be happy. It's going to work out in the end. Now, does that mean we're still not going to hear weird rumors about trades and whatnot? Whatever. I think the last one, let me see if I can find it here. There was one about going to the who was it? The Patriots. Let's see what Niners Nation here has to say. So, yeah, again, he unfollows, the watch of sorts of 49ers receiver cooled considerably, which is fine, but jumped back up because he unfollowed. Now, depending on who they pick in the first round, if they pick the wide receiver, then that might be something to worry about. But they're going to pick, as I've been saying for the past several weeks, they're going to get a tackle or a cornerback. I'm thinking tackle, but one of the two in the first and second round, it's going to be a tackle and a cornerback. Not necessarily in that order, but I'm thinking it should be tackle first. But what it says here with Mayoko was on KBR's, and surprised that the 49ers don't try to make this thing work with Brandon Ayuk. They don't ultimately arrive at a long-term solution for him. Matt Mayoko covers the 49ers exclusively. He's been doing it for years. He knows the team. It's going to get done. Now, Brady in a late playoff run like they did Rivers, no, I think this is old. No, not that old. That's today. Now, that whole Brady rumor thing, by the way, no, that's just another pipe dream out there. Oh, I could come back if I wanted. No. He's old, too old. I think he could he possibly be better than some quarterbacks out there? Sure, but no, let him stay retired. Big board, 41 players to consider. Draft watch, okay. Evan Williams, defensive tackle. I still think at first couple rounds it's going to be offensive tackle. Let's see what that one goes with. 41 players to consider across 7 rounds. And no, I don't want to do all of that. And it's not going to let me get rid of it. Awesome. Oh well. Part of it was I saw the first thing before that weird thing came up saying that they want to get a tackle. I agree. So let's worry about getting a tackle first. Let's worry about getting a cornerback. And then maybe we can start worrying about wide receiver and any other position later in the draft. We don't want to waste our first round pick on a wide receiver when we already have plenty of good wide receivers and we're going to pay Ayuk. So let's stick with those offensive tackles, those cornerbacks, and go from there. So since we have some more time, let's go over some of those offensive tackles. I did a little bit of that last week, but we will do it again just to go a little bit more in depth in 2 or 3 of them. As soon as that comes up. We'll go with PFF. Ranking the offensive tackles. Again, unless we jump up in the draft, which I don't see us doing, there's no way we're going to get Alt, Fuaga, or Fatanu or Fashanu, or even Latham. I don't think he'll be there. He might, but I'm thinking it's going to be these bottom guys, like I said in the last draft. But let's hope we can get Mims. I heard a lot of good things about Mims. And from Georgia, or out of Georgia, not necessarily from Georgia, but that's where he went to college. Big boy, 6'7". We're not going to get free agency out of that. Let us look up Mims, Amaris Mims. Marius Mims, there we go. All right. Will become good starter within 2 years, the NFL.com thinks. Technically, if he really wanted to, he could stay in college. But I'm sure, obviously, he's in the draft, so he's coming. Product scores. Let's see, 40-yard dash, 5.07, 10-yard split, 1.78, vertical jump, 25.5, broad jump, 9 and 3. None of those. I don't think those are going to be the greatest thing there. But let's see if we can 5 there. Let's go back to the beginning of that so we can see the whole thing. Now I can't, I don't know if you can hear that. I can try to.
Level.
He's a human solar eclipse,
yes.
Is what Amarius Mims is. It's not hyperbole that he can keep one hand in Athens and the other hand in Tuscaloosa. It stretches that far. But if you're looking for a fit, I mean, the Baltimore Ravens, they stock offensive linemen the way Walmart starts shelves. So
yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's take out this one here now.
One of the more intriguing offensive line prospects is Amarius Mims of Georgia, number 65. Mims can use his feet and hands well. In the run game, he looks to dominate and overpower.
All right, what I'm seeing there is he is going from the right side and pushing over to the left, which means if he can do that, he can probably pull as well. Like Trent Williams, when Trent's over here and he swings around, I think he can, just the way this clip and the previous one showed him, he's going to be, I think he'll be able to do a good pull and do some good blocking for, can you imagine him pulling around next to Trent Williams, and imagine what CMC is going to be able to do? I think that's going to be awesome.
Power his opponent.
That was a good, nice downfield tackle or block. So yeah, I'm thinking that he's going to end up being a good player for whatever team he gets on. But it looks to me like Mims could easily fit in with the 49ers. I wouldn't, if he drops to 31, I'd be surprised. But if we somehow say, hey, you know what, he's dropping at least into the 20s, maybe we would trade up a little bit. I think he would be well worth trading up for. So what do you all think? I think he'd be a good, he seems to have a good athleticism. I think he'll be good at pulling, which the 49ers like to do, but mostly it's Trent Williams coming from the left to the right. It'd be a nice change of pace to have someone be able to come from right to left. So yeah, I think Mims would be a good fit. I think, sorry, I had to fix my screen. But yeah, I think he's going to be a great fit for whoever gets him, but it would be awesome if we got him. So what do you all think? I kind of like Mims. Be nice to get him. There's also a few other prospects to look at. Guyton from Oklahoma, Barton from Duke, Morgan from Arizona, and Suam Matia from BYU. But I'm kind of leaning Mims for me. It's possible he could drop as far as we need him to, or like I said, if he drops into the, say, no one's picked him up by 22, 23, maybe we should jump up just a little bit to get him. I think he would fit really well. All right. So we've gone over a little bit about BA and the wonderful drama there. We talked about our one-year signings of 3 cornerbacks. I talked about Edom a little bit. And the one-year signing of our new tight end, Saubert. I'm killing his name. I know I am. Next week, it's going to be just down to one more week until the draft. So if there's any particular draft prospect you want me to talk about, mention it in the comments. Otherwise, I will keep an eye on the news, and I'm going to look into a little bit more on tackles Barton and Guyton, because I think those are our 2 closest possibilities that we can get without moving up. So tight end Graham Barton from Duke, and tackle Graham Barton from Duke, and tackle Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. I will do some a little bit more digging, show some highlights as I just did with Mims, and we'll go from there. Hope to see you guys all next week. Now, please, if you would, go down and hit that like, hit that subscribe, and make those comments. Comments help me out a lot. Give me some ideas if you want to hear about something in particular. So talk to you all next week. Have a great weekend.